By the way, there's one little piece of tech that I forgot to mention in my prior video, and probably other ones, where Jump Splash from Lily is extremely good at tagging a lot of the stuff that you need to be, like, airborne and have, like, weird neutral or back jump interactions with, like Blanca Ball, like Lily's Wind Spires, stuff like that. Like Headbutt. It usually wins very consistently. And you can get a little, pretty decent conversion off of it. Okay, so Lily stuff, right. Okay, this is, I guess, to make the kind of... Tech is a bit sparse in this game, so I figured I'd make more sensationalized content. Ooh, 10 things that I would change in this video game in the next patch. Oh man, can't wait for those patch updates. Right. So, Lily, I'm one of the very few people on this planet that believes in this character and thinks that she's actually significantly better than people give her credit for. That being said, definitely some pain points, definitely some legitimate pain points, in my opinion, that I would like to talk to. Some of the theoretical pain points might just be the archetype of the character, like, you know, there are things that I see as pain points while playing the character that would be the case for, you know, a Zangief or whatever, if they're intentionally made to be pain points. Weak points for a sort of archetype that is driven into extremes, like a grappler. I could understand that, but, you know, obviously in moderation. You can go too far with some of these pain points. But, and some of them might also be just design elements in the entire game, not just for one character. Like, I don't like how often Lily's DP whiffs when the opponent is near or above her head, but that's not really a Lily thing. That's just something I don't like about the entire game, where so many of the fucking anti-airs are so goddamn terrible. Right. So, what is Lily particularly bad at in, like, actually debilitating ways? First things first, like, sweeps. One, like, she's most threatened and challenged by normals that hit at, like, this range. So, in this range, Lily's Crouch Fierce dominates all from Luke, except for, like, maybe Forward Fierce, which is slow, so Lily's will win. Or, Drive Rush, Crouch Jab, which is 14 frames from Luke, so Lily's is Stand Fierce at the around. So if you're, like, you Drive Rush in with this, and you're, like, +4 or whatever, +2 off of this, you can go for that, and that'll beat his normal options. The pain point comes in with sweeps, with quite a few characters. Sweep for a lot of characters is a normal that reaches as far as Lily's good buttons in the range that she wants to play at, and she doesn't have the best... She has a slower than average jump startup, which means it's harder for her to jump over lows. She has to be more plus than most other characters to be able to get over lows with a jump. And, this is mostly solved in Classic. This is, like, the biggest thing that you lose in Classic, in my opinion, is her overhead. Because her overhead, in addition to being an overhead, the actual main value point of this move is that it low crushes. It's, like, the only thing in Lily's entire toolkit that low crushes particularly quickly. So it's the only thing that will go over and beat sweeps a lot of the time. This is, alright, one very specific thing that I'm confident in saying. Her Condor Spires will low crush as well, but if you get a wind stock, they actually low crush slower. So this low crushes, I actually don't know the exact frames, but it low crushes fairly quickly. If you get a wind stock and do like Condor Spire, it loses to lows that the normal version would not lose to, which is obnoxious. So, I don't like that. I wish it would just low crush better all the time. But more than that, I don't want to, in this kind of a game, I don't want to have to rely on low crushes to beat annoying lows. I would rather Lily... The pain point of a lot of sweeps, like Luke's sweep, for example, is it interrupts her from doing a lot of the things that she wants to do, like whiff punishing things, creating a space trap and then whiff punishing with back fierce, or having control of the space with longer normals like this. So, if she's not plus enough to actually win off of this, and it'll trade or lose to a sweep, that affects her ability to play in a space where she normally gets to control most of the button interactions. And doubly bad on top of that is that she is fucking terrible at punishing sweeps. She's one of the worst characters at just punishing things in general. If the opponent does something that's -5, and she's in command grab range, it's fine, because punish counter command grab is good. But outside of 5-frame range, she has like some of the worst like punishes in the game. At this range, you can't even punish with an 8-frame. You have to get to like 9-frame, you're only punishing with that, which doesn't cancel into anything, doesn't go into super, there's no theoretical conversion off of it. Low forward, not gonna reach. Stand medium kick, not gonna reach. So even just standing here, you have no fucking conversion. Even just here, you have no real conversion, except for, like, that. Which is, you know, it's better than not having it, but then, like, right outside of crouch jab range, you have nothing. You can maybe do this if you have it, which is not good. And then outside of that range, so -9, -10 at this range, fucking nothing. You get nothing. Once you're outside of Stand Fierce, -11 or up, you get nothing. And then when you have weirder stuff like, Blanca's, no, not Blanca, but like, fucking, okay, Lily's Condor Spire, right? I talked about this in a previous video. All the characters that have punishes to it. Like the Wind Condor Spire that bounces back further. Lily is one of the only characters that gets shit-for-nothing punishes on this, even though it's -22, because she just is so bad at punishing at anything outside of command grab range. So, really bad at punishing sweeps. Also, what I would specifically do, and, like, this is, like, I feel like I'm being modest in what I would like from the character. I would just like for her sweep to be 9-frame startup and, like, hit significantly farther. Like, make it like a Jamie sweep. And then I feel like just that change would fix a number of these problems. I think it would be helpful for her to have that. One thing she also struggles with is whiff punishing, because all of her normals that are, like, have this range are, like, 9 frames or slower. So other characters that can whiff punish in this range with 8-framers or 7-framers, she has to get all the way to, this is 11 frames, whiff punishing with the second hit of this is like 12, 13 frames away. Those are slow punishes. Those are slow whiff punishes. So if she had something that was like 9 frames that hit at this range, much more reliable whiff punish tool. Plenty of other characters have whiff punish sweeps like Ken, Ryu, whatever. Sweep doesn't combo in anything, it's just a sweep. I don't feel like that's too outrageous. And if this was 9 frames and it hit farther, you would be able to punish a lot more stuff. And they would be modest punishes. It's just a sweep, it's just a knockdown into a setup. Alright, next major... I'm not doing this in the order that I wrote them down, but biggest problem with the character by far, shit defense. Shit really gets run over, difficult. She does have an anti-air DP, and when she has wind, she can beat safe jumps. That being said, those factors are not enough for her to get out of the difficulties of just the offense-defense in this game. She can do perfect... Okay, her perfect parry options, she can then do, like, back throw or command grab, which is, off of the perfect parry, is, like, only 1600 damage around there. Anti-airs, this whiffs if the opponent's forward jumping over her head. This is more convenient than a lot of other characters, I'll give her that. Crouch Fierce hits way farther behind her head than basically any other character with an anti-air. So that's good. The only annoying part about this is... There's two annoying parts about this move as an anti-air. One is that when you're using it on offense, and I've talked about that in one of my much earlier Lily videos, if the opponent, reversal after damage, jumps, if you get, like, stand jab, and they... Okay, let me do jump and backdash, right? So, this nearly clips them when you're +6 off of the stand jab, and you do crouch fierce. However, if it was 1 frame faster, or stand jab was 1 frame more plus, you would be able to lock them down. However, characters with the normal speed of jump startup can get 1 frame into the air, which means that the follow-ups you get will be different. So you could fix this by... Which is obnoxious when you're trying to, like, hit confirm, because, like, if you're trying to get the opponent escaping, I don't want to really splurge drive rush on, like, an air hit. I'd rather get it on the backdash. Which means that if you want to be optimal with your meter, you have to fucking, like, hit confirm it. You have to, like, use your eyes to determine whether they're grounded or jumping, which is annoying, and I do not do because it's too much mental energy to put towards that part of your game plan. The other annoying thing is that when the opponent jumps at you, if it's a counter hit, they get into this knockdown state, and they also fall faster than they normally would. As you can see, he kind of, like, rapidly goes downwards, whereas if he just jumps at you into nothing, or you get a drive rush clip, he stays in the air a bit longer, which creates inconsistencies in various ways. So if you commit to this, but he actually hits nothing on the way down, it just whiffs, you get whiff punish, you die. You get whiff punish, you die. You get whiff punish, you die, or you get blown up by a DI. You do this, depends on the range and the character, what options they have to punish light windstock on anti-air. Best you can be is like -9, decently far away, because again, you're not clipping a limb or a normal or something, so this depends on the character and the spacing and height and whatever, whether or not they'll punish this. But that inconsistency is annoying. I feel like if you just make it a JP button and just have it juggle by itself, it'll solve both of these issues, and that way it won't be so annoying when you clip them out of the air like that, because then they'll get into a juggle state. Or just make it 1 frame faster, or stand jab 1 frame more plus, if you're willing to do that. So that's an annoying thing. The other things for... Right, I was talking about defense. Her 4-framer, really bad. Like, really, really bad. Worst in the game. Debatably, but probably the worst in the game. If she doesn't have wind, she's really fucked. If she does have wind, she can at least do, like, light into wind and be plus on block and beat DIs and stuff. Not good, like, corner escape options. This is not particularly good. She can at least do it on neutral jump, which, you know, is one thing, but it's not much. She doesn't have any other, like, side switch tools or side switch combo routes or anything. Again, there's, like, this big gap, this big, like, between her 6-frame range and her, like, fucking 12-frame range out here. Between there's an awkward range where she loses to medium buttons and faster heavy buttons. Level 1, not very good as a reversal, 13-frame startup. Level 2, it's alright. It's not terrible. But, you know, eh. Level 3, she does not get Oki off of. And it doesn't hit quite as hard as Zangief's, although it does deal the second most damage in the game. Only it's much worse than Zangief's on defense because it's not one of those types that grabs them before they can see it. Other weak point of the character's defense is that if you do clip them and you don't have wind, you won't be able to convert any of your lights without spending meter or super. Other weak point of the character, weak point and like a strong point in that you don't have to rely on it and you have other options to do this, but like most characters in this game, they have this ability to stop forward momentum and like buffer into drive rush, right? So if you're gonna fucking drive rush at me. However, Lily doesn't have like these mediums that she can throw out for drive rushes, especially in Modern where you lose standing medium kick. Not that it was like that great and normal to lose in the first place, but you have crouch jab, which is not worth drive rush buffering, and because it's a light you can't buffer it. It'll just spend automatically and waste 3 bars. So you have like nothing until your fucking 10-framer in Crouch Fierce. Just Crouch Fierce, basically. Nothing else is like a quick thing to throw out and buffer into drive rush like any other character does. So this is a weak point in a couple of ways. One is that if you don't have wind and you're like buffering crouch jab into, say, EX this, a problem with any character that buffers a normal, a light, medium, or a heavy into a special, most specials in the game, is that will get blown up by DI. If the opponent DIs and your buffer catches the DI, you'll just do the special into it and just get punish countered and blown up. The other thing about this is that, like, Zangief doesn't necessarily deal with that as much because he, one, because he can his light kick goes so far that he can very clearly see if it's in range, so he doesn't risk whiffing it as much. So he has this better tool on defense, really, really long 7-framer that he can recognize and then drive rush cancel. And 2, his light buttons are actually plus on block. That one's +2, that one's +1. So he can be more willing to just throw out his buttons and not cancel them into something because it's still his turn and he could do something off of it. Lily kind of has a bit of that because she can do a light block string that pushes her out so far compared to what most characters can get. And it's only -1, both her stand jab and crouch jab, but still. Another weak point for the defense is not having those tools that you can brain dead buffer, get combos on catching the opponent being over aggressive, and you open yourself up a bit. But mainly, obviously, the big issue is no fucking wake up, no real reversal, bad level 1, slow jump, floaty jump, one of the slower, floatier jumps in the game. Not like other extraneous tools, no combo routes that side switch, bad 4-framer, and her only throw invincible option is to either commit to this, which is fucking stupid, or do something that is much better but more difficult to execute, is jump cancel command grab. So if I have Luke doing a throw loop, you can jump cancel command grab to punish counter it. But obviously that requires execution, and it's not quite as easy to do as Zangief's because her jump is slower on startup than the average character, but not as slow as Zangief's. I don't think they're the same. One thing, okay, this is another commentary on, like, maybe this is the state of the whole game. I would be more okay. Having more health in this game probably wouldn't make that much of a difference, just based on how the game goes and how much you get fucking slaughtered and momentum and huge combos killing you. But maybe if she had a bit more health, it would be better. And then the next major issue, and this is not like a gameplay issue necessarily, this is not like a balance issue, and I'm not even saying that any of this stuff is balanced, but these are aspects that are frustrating to play as with the character. But another thing that's frustrating to play as with the character, her combos are fucking boring. This is why no one wants to play this character, because her combos are fucking lame as hell. She is so fucking sauceless when she's dealing damage. Like her most interesting combo is her drive impact combo. Like that. Yeah. Boring combo, not a lot of links, not a lot of juggling, not a lot of options. One thing that would help the character... Okay, one thing that would help the character is, being able to have a drive rush light into a medium. That's not this 6-frame button, because once you get to 6 frames, it's a bit late. I guess that's not any different than Zangief, but at least Manon can do, like, drive rush light punch and then go into her fucking heavies. But even then, like with Lily, especially if you're in Modern, if you do, like, drive rush, even crouch jab, only 9 frames, you can't get into low forward, you can't get into crouch fierce. So I would rather, I mean, this is kind of like a weird, because I consider Modern, like, not the default version of the character, but I almost exclusively play Modern. I think Modern is just better, just stronger than Classic for Lily. Just for Lily. But, so, with Modern, I don't even have access to standing medium kick, which would affect things, but, like, for instance, if I'm, like, chasing down a backdash and I see a backdash, I can only respond with the fastest available option, and I have to go into, like, either raw command grab, stand short, or maybe my 5-framer, and none of which, like, convert into anything interesting. They just go into lights. Some of her buttons maybe not quite plus enough on hit. Like, I feel like this should be more plus on hit. This is probably fine as it is. I do not have that many complaints about stand medium punch as a button. This is a good button. It does its job. I like this button. Okay, but yeah, like I said, combos. Her combos are really boring. And in certain instances, like if you catch the opponent, you know, jumping or whatever, I'd like to have some more interesting juggles to go to. Okay, even just like that, if I could do that and then juggle with jump medium punch, I'd be fine with that. But you can't. Other, like, more matchup dependent stuff, her win stocks against projectile characters, I feel like need to have better hurt boxes to either trade through the projectiles or trade with moves more often, or just survive long enough before getting hit by the projectile to get the win stock before taking the damage. Like, I feel like that's a perfectly fine grappler archetype thing to do. You willingly let yourself take damage in order to get some sort of advantage in some other way. That's like a grappler fucking staple, right? You trade your health. But, you can't really do that as much as you would like to. There's very few projectiles in the game that you can react to with win stock and still get the stock out before the thing hits you. Other things, I feel like jumping... Okay, her jumping medium punch is her longest range jump-in button. Even then, doesn't go that far, and it's, like, not particularly useful. I would prefer if just this jumping roundhouse just hit, like, a fair amount farther. you know, other SPD grappler characters, Zangief and Manon, can both jump in with much longer reaching jump in buttons, and that allows them to threaten and jump in at this range and do like empty jump SPD, right? Fucking grappler staple. Okay, next. I don't understand the point of Wind Condor Dive. I don't fucking get it. Regular Condor Dive, very punishable. Minus 19 at best, usually. Unless you hit it like super meaty. Whatever. Minus 19 at best, usually worse. Very punishable. Everyone in the cast can punish it. When you get into Wind, it's still just as minus. It just pushes you back a bit farther. That's the only difference. That is the only fucking difference. It's not like you get interesting juggles off of it. You spend a whole ass wind stock to get... You are just as punishable, basically, to 80% of the cast. The only characters that actually struggle to punish it as hard because of the extra pushback from wind are, like, Lily, Geef, and fucking, like, Blanca, and, you know, whatever. Like, no one. Ryu. Like, those four characters are the only characters that can't punish it as hard. For everyone else in the cast, there's basically almost no difference between blocking this and blocking the Wind version. They are both just as punishable because of the existence of Drive Rush. So, I don't really fucking get the point of this. It's not like it's... right. Okay, next. I don't understand the point of this being able to super cancel. It's like an okay button. It has much shorter range than you would think. The problem with it is that it doesn't go into any of her supers past the range that it hits at, so there's no point in using it as a buffer. I'd rather see either her level 1 be made faster or make some other change to it, like let you side switch off of it, or make it hit farther if it's going to be as slow as 13 frame startup, and if she's going to have this fucking crouching medium punch for some reason. And what else? This is not like a necessity for the character, but this is just like my personal preference. I would rather she have one of the like longer, slower backdashes, like your Rashids or your Chuns or whatever, where they have a backdash that goes like twice as far. That would not necessarily help for her mix-up game, because having a faster, shorter backdash makes it easier. And her backdash isn't terrible. There are much worse ones, but... yeah, it makes it easier to do shimmies when it's faster, but I prefer the neutral of having a longer backdash, although maybe they wouldn't allow a character that runs away as much to have one of the longer backdashes. I'm not sure. Anyways, I think that's, those are most of my opinions and observations. Yeah, I honestly, like, the main thing, something to do on defense, spice up the combos a little bit, more interesting combo routes, and just put this at 9 frames, make it hit farther, and then with very minor tweaks to the rest of her kit, I'd be fine with that. I think that's all that really needs happening. Anyways, yep.